This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. If you want to be part of the community that makes content like this, head over now. Ben Duckett does not leave the ball. He goes after everything. That is his signature style. Well, actually, no. Perhaps now he is best known for Duckett's Buckets, his new hat range. I don't know if Herbert Sutcliffe sold his own hats, but I would definitely have bought them if he did. But Ben Duckett does, so you don't need to be left alone without one. Chase down your own Duckett's Buckets today.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Third Innings Live at Good Areas. My name is Behram Qazi, and you can find me at Def Mango on Twitter. And with me is my colleague Shayan Ahmed Khan. You can find him at Tweets by Shayan on Twitter. And we're here to review the first T20I in the Asia Cup. Afghanistan annihilated Hong Kong by 94 runs. And before we talk about that, I'd just like all of you guys to know that these podcasts on the Good Areas Network, they are powered by our supporters on Patreon. And you can become one of them by going to Patreon/Good Areas Podcast and then enjoy ad-free content, talk to us exclusively, and you can also give us recommendations for podcasts. But anyway, that was a very, very convincing win for Afghanistan, Shayan. And I mean, they won it the way they wanted to win it, right? Winning the toss, batting first. That's what they always do. And yeah, I mean, once again, as we discussed, they were a little circumspect in the power play. They were, 41 for 2 in the power play and 77 for 2 at the 10-over mark. And then they kind of accelerated towards the end, especially in the last 5 overs where they scored like 78 runs for 2 wickets. So it was very template-y stuff by Afghanistan.
Yeah, but could you not argue the way Gurbaz got out, they were trying to bat more aggressively? Like, at that point, the score was also 25, I think, when Gurbaz got out in 2.2 overs. Must have been 25 for 0 in 2.2 overs. So, maybe it was those 2 wickets that really, it made the situation such that they wanted to bat within themselves and, go for the long haul. And I think it probably did make some sense, especially when you see the way Omarzai batted later on. And I think he was definitely the player of the match, the way he batted today, and then with the ball and that run out, man. Beautiful
Absolutely.
stuff.
No, I think you actually make a very fair case because they did start off really strongly. And of course, the UAE's fielders were helping them as much as they could. But without doubt, I mean, we're obviously on this live stream as soon as the game ended. So I'm assuming all my brain cells are telling me that Azmatullah Omarzai will be the player of the match. Of course, this was his maiden T20I 50. He got there in 20 deliveries and ended up with 53 of 21. Add 1 for 4 in 2 power play overs and then that run out. It was a complete performance. And, when I think about Omarzai and I look at his skill set, I kind of view him as Hardik Pandya light, Like he is of the same mold, but obviously not quite as skillful yet.
Yeah, no, I think I can see that. Maybe. See, Omarzai is also pretty good in ODIs, right? Like at this stage in his career, I think he's a much better ODI player. T20, I think it still remains to be seen whether he can consistently be a power hitter. Today was a brilliant exhibition, I think. So I was just looking at his wagon wheel today. So he made 24 runs on the offside and 29 on the onside. And his most dominant region was the mid-wicket region where he also hit sixes, right? So he hit 5 sixes in his innings and 3 of those were in that region.
No. He really has a fantastic arc, and those mid-wicket sixes were quite big as well. And then there was one, I think, over long off or over extra cover. I really like that six in particular.
That was very good, yes.
Yeah, I mean, he is the reason Afghanistan ultimately got to a first innings total of 188. Otherwise, at the 15-over mark, they were 110 for 4. And I was like, okay, you know what? They're going to win this game now because 150, they're definitely getting. And I thought that if Hong Kong, China had any chance whatsoever, then it was to restrict Afghanistan to 150 or below. Are you getting used to that yet? I still haven't gotten used to Hong Kong, China
definitely.
yet.
That was the first thing I noticed and I was like, what are they saying? Okay.
Yeah, no, it was very, very fascinating. And
and they said it every single time. Like,
yes.
They didn't even say, okay, Hong Kong, China once at the start of the innings maybe and then go, okay, Hong Kong, but no.
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was a clear directive from the broadcasters that you have to say Hong Kong, China. I mean, that much was apparent. Also, from a tactical point of view, I have been following Afghanistan very closely in the tri-series and whatnot, right? So, Gulbuddin and Kareem Jannat weren't playing in the same game, right? One of those guys was playing and Darvesh Rasooli was batting at 4. They binned Rasooli. And now they've gotten both of those guys in the first 11. I think that's probably the right move, right? Gives them more options with the bat and with the ball.
Yeah, I think it does increase their bowling depth, right? Because I haven't followed Rasuli's career. What sort of a profile was he compared to Kareem Janat and Nabi? Sorry, Naib. Yeah.
Rasuli's different. He doesn't bowl, and I think he could be a really, really good ODI player because he takes down spin well, but his scoring rate is low, and it's that area long off to deep point where he's really strong versus spin, and on the leg side is a bit hacky. So you could actually get him out over there, right? So that's my assessment of him. But of course, still early days, and Afghanistan they've gone for more experience. But there is a young kid on the block who did impress today. Now, Sadiqullah Atal has scored 350s in quick succession. He scored 2 in the Tri-Series, and now today he was unbeaten on 73 of 52. But if you actually break down that knock, he was dropped on 4 in the slips by Hong Kong, China's captain, Murtaza. And then Murtaza once again dropped him off his own bowling when Sadiq was on 45. And then Sadiq was also dropped on 51 once again. So he was dropped thrice, and he got to his half century of 41 deliveries. That's 21 more deliveries than Azmatullah Omarzai, right? More than double.
Yeah.
And sure, he accelerates towards the end, kind of carries his bat. Plays 52 deliveries and is unbeaten on 73. And I'm ready to give him some leeway over here because he's a young guy. He's an attractive bat, left-handed, batter. But then again, if Afghanistan really want to challenge the best, that sort of innings isn't going to cut it.
No, I think I can see that, but I think it's always the same thing with Afghanistan, right? It's a strategy that they've gone ahead with, and they need runs on the board, because without runs on the board, they're not going to be able to do it. Yes, the way Omarzai played today, I think that was very promising for them, but they will need their middle order to step up more often. And I think once they have that confidence, only then you can see the likes of Atal or Zadran bat with more freedom and with more intent. I think Gurbaz's poor form also probably plays a part in all of this. He has not been among the runs off late. And today, I think he hit one very brilliant 6, and then he tried to repeat it. And that time he got out. So I actually didn't mind it. I actually liked that he went for the second 6. Maybe tried to hit his way out of his slump, but unfortunately he got out again, right? And the commentators again, they were like, okay, why did he go for the attacking shot, man? But he just threw his wicket away. So.
Be very careful. We work with one of those commentators. But anyway, I think that I'm with you. I don't mind, right? That Gurbaz was going for another big shot. But, his slump has been quite prolonged now, and that doesn't help Afghanistan. And I've often made the case that I think that they have enough depth. If Rashid Khan is coming into bat at 8, you can take more chances. They do pigeonhole themselves as this team who goes for power totals, and then they're, good enough to defend them because their bowling attack is ridiculously good, right?
Yeah.
I just feel that they're limiting themselves. They only have one method to win games, and they're not a great chasing team either. But hey, this is the interesting part. Today, they were telling us on commentary that, in the ILT20, I think no team won the toss and opted to bat first, and Afghanistan did that because that's what they always do. It's not particularly surprising. So, I don't think there was much dew today. But if with the progression of this tournament, we do start to see dew in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, then they will literally I don't know, man. They'll handicap themselves in a way. Yeah, we have Bart is a serious fan over here. He says, does Afghanistan's power scorer and unleashing the bowlers approach remind Behram of Pakistan's approach around the start of this decade? Absolutely, it does. It really does remind me of Pakistan of 2021 and 2022, where they were successful doing what Afghanistan is doing, and then it really fell off. The bowlers regressed, and then the batters also kind of forgot how to score runs. And then 2023 and 2024, Pakistan was a really, really average or below average, T20 side. So that's what I fear with respect to Afghanistan. And I think that they really need to they need to not be stuck in mental barriers and back themselves a wee bit more. I know that maybe there's not enough batting insurance, but then again, this is a format which doesn't require a lot of batting insurance. If you can smash it, then you can smash it.
No, I think I can see your point as well. It's just that I think their way also makes sense, but maybe what they could do is if Gurbaz comes back into form, maybe he could maximize the power play better. In that sense, it could work out for them,
Yeah. No, I mean,
or they could try experimenting, maybe sending Omarzai up the order or something like that, something to, disrupt what they are
Perhaps.
doing at the moment, right? If they want to make bigger scores, but do they want to make bigger scores is probably the bigger question here.
That is the bigger question because I feel like they're very content scoring 75 to 80 runs in the first 10 overs, trying to get to 180 and then defending that total. I think that's their mindset. But then again, that might not be the way to go in this tournament once Dew comes in, because a lot of people are saying that in the business end of this tournament, that might well be a reality. Anyway, let's come to the fielding. It was shockingly poor. I know Afghanistan get forced really two good runouts, but there
Yeah.
were 7 catches dropped across both innings. 4 by Hong Kong and 3 by Afghanistan. 2 Afghanistan dropped back to back. And we often speak of how in modern day T20 cricket more chances are created. But games like these make me believe that the catching standards have just gone down, man.
Yeah, it's what we say in the group chat. We keep saying IPL fielding, right? It's just that it seems to have, taken over other formats and even international T20s. Even in the India-England Test series, the catching wasn't great, right? Like maybe we're just being biased by recency. That could also be a thing. But it just seems like maybe field catching in particular, it seems like it has gone down. There is no data to back this up, by the way. We are just going on vibes.
Yeah.
So I also sort of agree with where I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, look, it seemed like both of those teams couldn't catch a cold. Ultimately, Kareem Jannat did get hold of a good catch, and then Nabi took a good one as well. But, Hong Kong, China, they could ill afford these lapses in the field. And these weren't just regular lapses. These were proper howlers, right? Some of those chances or catches were really, really easy. And, if you're dropping Sadiqullah Atal like thrice in the same innings. Like, imagine what they could have achieved had they gotten Afghanistan 3 down in the power play, for instance, right?
Yeah.
And Bart is saying over here, or Bart is a serious fan, is saying, you may recall that teams dropped catches under the lights at the stadium during the Champions Trophy too. That's actually a fair point. Maybe there's something to do with the lights as well. But some of those catches, man, I kid you not, I could catch in the dark. And I'm not even a good fielder, right? Like, they were just kind of plopping upwards and moving gently towards the fielders. Also, Naveen hasn't retired, Bart. I can see some of your other comments in which you are, I guess, under the impression that Naveen has retired. I think he's a part of the squad as well. It's just that Afghanistan love to play the extra spinner. And why shouldn't they, right? I mean, this was a surface on which spinners did get a bit of help. I mean, if you only look at the UAE, for instance, Ehsan Khan, who is, 40 years old, and then I think Jared thinks he's even older, like 45 or something, the right arm off spinner, he ends up with figures of 1 for 28 in his 4 overs. The skipper, slow left armer, Yasim Murtaza, he ends up with none for 23 in his 4 overs. And Kinchit Shah, who we were really obsessing over in our group chat, because in Sanskrit, his name means somewhat. He is somewhat Shah, and I love that about him. Although Varun later clarified that his name means God of Rain, but I think it'll be great if we just refer to him as somewhat Shah. And he had only taken 12 wickets in 49 games in T20 eyes, takes 2 for 24 in 3 overs, so he gets 1/7 of his entire T20 international wicket tally in the same game. These guys, all 3 spinners for the Hong Kong China team, they combined for 3 for 75 in 11 overs. That was proof enough that they're about to get wrecked, that Afghanistan could probably defend 140 over here, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that's wherever there is some help for the spinners, I think, and Afghanistan has 3 very good spinners. In fact, if they use Nabi, they have even more options, right?
Exactly. They didn't even use.
And Mujib
Mohammad
is not
Nabi,
even
man.
in the 11 here. Is he even in the squad? I don't think he's in the squad, right?
No. Mujib is in the squad. They play
he's in the
either
squad.
of. Yeah, so they don't play Ghazanfar and Mujib in the same game. Just one of those guys plays.
Fair.
And I think that their best team probably does feature Mujib ahead of Ghazanfar, because even if Ghazanfar is young and exciting, Mujib has the experience and he can bowl in the power play. So he gives you a very, very solid option. Like, imagine Farooqi, Azmat and Mujib. That's your 6 overs of the power play. That's quite solid, I would say, because even Azmat, I feel, is best when he bowls in the power play. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think because Azmat can get swing, right? He's pretty good early on. I think even in the IPL, I've seen him bowl with the new ball. He has the skill to be able to do that. And obviously, Farooq is at his best when the ball is new, hard. He can get it to move both ways, probably. And today, like did you see the first wicket? Like that, it just looked like out, right? But
yeah, to the naked eye, that looked like, dead. But I don't know, man. The replay showed us that there was no edge. And poor guy, he was their best batter, by the way. who did get out in that fashion, and they didn't even review, which was kind of heartbreaking because you're already definitely going to lose this game. No way in hell can you ever chase 189 in these conditions versus a team like, or a bowling attack like Afghanistan, and then you kind of just you kind of gift them a wicket like that, which is not their fault, to be honest. Like, it's the umpire's fault, but could have reviewed it, right?
Yeah, they could have taken that chance, I mean, what are you going to save the review for? But, I can also see the other side. I think it was Dweplia who brought this up on Twitter that if it was an obviously outside, like if it was an obvious outside edge, then it would have looked very silly and selfish, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know.
True.
Because the sound was there. The sound was very clear and...
You do not want to be that guy. So yes, I actually can see the other side to this. All right then. Speaking of Afghanistan spinners, Rashid Khan didn't have the best day. Considering it was Hong Kong, China, he was up against. He takes, 1 for 24 in his 4 overs. I think he still hasn't hit peak Rashid Khan form in a while, because before he got surgery, his form had ridiculously dipped, right? Like, it was very, very bad. He had a very poor IPL. And now he's looked better. He just hasn't looked like Rashid Khan of old. Because even in his own team, Ghazanfar goes for 4 runs in 2 overs. Noor picks up 1 for 16 in his 4 overs, right? Nabi doesn't get a bowl today. So, I mean, how has Rashid Khan come to a point where 2 other spinners in Afghanistan's team have outperformed him in a game which is against Hong Kong, China?
Yeah, man, I think... How did he go in the try series? I think that will give us some idea. Maybe today was just a bad day for him.
He was good. I wouldn't say he was bad. But for instance, in the final, sure, he takes 3 wickets, but he goes for 38 runs. And Pakistan isn't a team which plays spin really, really well in these conditions. So, like, if the total score is 141 in that tri series final and he's conceded 38 runs, I think that is a bit of a red flag, no? Because I'm not saying that he is washed. I'm saying that, or questioning, can he go back to those Rashid Khan levels that we got so used to? That's the big one.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. So earlier in that tournament, the tri series that I'm talking about, he did take wickets consistently. So he went for 1 for 26, 3 for 21, and 2 for 30, all in 4 overs. And I think obviously it was Pakistan who scored 26, 30, and 38 of him. And so he was among the wickets and he wasn't going for that many runs. But yes, in the final, I think especially considering Pakistan ended up winning that game quite comfortably, maybe if he went for fewer runs, things could have been different, But yeah, I think if he is not at his best, I think that will be a bit concerning for Afghanistan. There is no doubt in that. I haven't really looked at it in depth as to why it's happening with him. I might have to do a more deeper dive into it before making any, sweeping remarks or some sort of analysis. So I think it has to be like his form will be very crucial if they have to go up against the big teams, because if Rashid Khan is not at his best against maybe India, if they face India, and I think they might end up facing India, right? If they win one more game and because of the big net run rate boost, and of course it could also just be that three of the teams will be at two wins. That could also happen, but net run rate can always come in the picture. And if they get to the next round, if he's slightly not even if he's not even slightly at his best, how Indian batters are going to they are ruthless against spin. And of course, as you've mentioned, Pakistan have also taken him on in that final. So let's see how that goes.
It is a slight cause for concern, I will say, not a major one just yet, because he has looked better since coming back from injury, but he's also not played the IPL, right? Like he has played teams which aren't as good. Anyway, it's interesting actually that if it does come down to net run rate, Afghanistan have done themselves a solid over here today by winning by 94 runs. Here's Bart is a serious fan again. He says the Hong Kong China team contains many seasoned pros and it will be interesting to see in the makeup of the side in the next Asia Cup. I was under the impression that most of these guys have other jobs, right? Like that's why I don't even want to go so hard on them for dropping all of those catches, because I think that these guys are part-time cricketers. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I actually don't know.
Could be. I think even I have not followed them in too much depth, but yes,
I know
that is a very plausible explanation, because if you're going to play cricket for an associate nation, you need to have some sort of job security as well on the side. And I think it's not
So I think we've lost Shayan. At least I have lost Shayan. I can't hear him. If you guys are still here, let me know if you can hear Shayan. And anyway, just in case that we have lost him, I think that pretty much wraps things up anyway. And we'll see you pretty much every day, I reckon, for third innings. Oh, we haven't lost Shayan. Never mind.
Oh, I'm
Maybe it's
back.
my issue then. Okay,
No,
okay.
no. I did go
Oh,
away. Yes,
okay.
yes.
What were you saying?
No, nothing. It's just that I'm trying to say that if you don't have a very stable financial stability as a cricketer,
Yes.
even if you're not from an associate nation, I do often see players doing other things and coming up with other ways to maintain. And I think it's very reasonable for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, just looking forward, I feel like Afghanistan are in a very good position to qualify for the Super Fours. They just need to beat either of Bangladesh or Sri Lanka now, given that they've gotten a big net run rate boost. So they should make it to the next round, I feel. And another positive for them is that sure we've discussed their spinners, and yes, Noor was really good, 1 for 16, Rashid 1 for 24, whatever, right? And then Ghazanfar only went for 4 runs in his 2 overs. But the seamers, barring Kareem Jannat, who I don't know why he bowled in the first place, because he hadn't bowled in a long time. This is
They
the
just
same
wanted to
guy.
try him out, I think.
I suppose they just wanted to try him out. I hope they don't play him in big games though, because Kareem Jannat, every memory I have of him is going for plenty of runs. Vaibhav Suryavanshi, Asif Ali, all of these guys obliterated him, right? In different stages of Kareem Jannat's career. But what was really hilarious to me, look, Fazal Farooqi ending up with 2 for 16 in 3 overs is believable, right? You're like, of course, that must have happened. He gets the ball to move in either direction, bowls really well with the new ball. The funniest figures of the day for me are Gulbadin's 2 for 8 in 3 overs. That's when you know that the gulf between sides is immaculate.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with that. It also depends on when he bowled. So he bowls most of his overs after the power play, right? And by that time, the game was pretty much done. I think it was the second run out that really sealed it for me. Although yes, Babar Hayat did stick around for a long time. He hit 3 sixes.
Yeah.
But that was like, he didn't hit a single 4. He hit 3 sixes. And I think even his strike rotation was not that great. And I think I can understand why as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to blame him too much, man. The game was pretty done and dusted. And Babar Hayat is actually one of those seasoned pros in that team. Him and I think Nazakat, is it? There are a few. There are a couple of those guys who have been around for quite a while, right? And then there's some youngsters as well. But anyway, Hong Kong still have two remaining games in this tournament. And if they somehow manage to spring up an upset, that'll be great for them. Afghanistan are looking good moving forward. And I think that pretty much wraps this up, right? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah. Anyway, the Asia Cup is finally underway. Afghanistan are off the mark. 2 points for them and a big net run rate boost. And tomorrow we will be back with India versus UAE. There will be a third innings for that as well. So make sure that you mark that in your calendars and can come through for this live. Anyway, that's it for this particular video. Thank you for all of your interactions in the comments and everything. And just a quick reminder, you can go to goodareas.co and bookmark that webpage. And that can prove to be your one-stop shop for all the fun work that we do as part of this team, whether it be written content, videos, or podcasts. And another reminder that all of our videos over here on the Good Areas Network and podcasts, they are powered by our supporters on Patreon. It's a very inclusive community. And you can become a patron as well by going to Patreon/Good Areas Podcast. Then you can enjoy ad-free content. You can talk to us exclusively. You can give us podcast recommendations. It's very, very fun. And I mean, everyone's having a blast over there. You can literally talk about anything. But anyway, that wraps this up. And have a good one, guys. Enjoy the Asia Cup. And we will see you soon enough. That's all for today. Goodbye.
Ross Taylor couldn't see at night or when the clouds were in. Eventually, he had to see an eye specialist who would fix his eyesight. In the 2 years before the change, he still averaged more than 50 in international cricket. The top level of batting talent can basically see in the dark. That is who we are talking about in our new book, The Art of Batting. Head over and order your copy today. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. If you want to be part of the community that makes content like this, head over now.